I want to give you a little overview of how you use divs to lay out your page. So a div is essentially a big box. It allows you to move something around your page. If you notice, you can't really move anything around your page right now. It also allows you to kind of style that box with a border or background to really make the information in that box be different than the rest of the information. So I'm going to show you based on your file. This is the file that we did for the last demonstration. It has a CSS. You can see the CSS is attached, and this is what we've done in the CSS so far. So over here in my source code, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to make a div. So div, again, is that generic box. So I'm just going to use the div tag, div. And that's the element, that's the opening tag for a div. Now you put the opening tag right before the content that you would like to have in your box. So I want my content to start here, and then I put my closing tag where I want my content to end, or I want that content in that box to end. So I come down here, and I want to end right before the main section. So I'm gonna do /div. So now I have an opening and closing tag, so I essentially have a box. The only problem is I cannot really select that box, because if I have lots of divs on my page, if I just type div into my style sheet and I select the div, then it will select all of those boxes. And I don't want to do that. I want to select a specific box. So the way that you select a specific box is there's an attribute called ID. So you can say ID equals, and then you give it a name. This one is going to be called sidebar. So ID equals sidebar. So now this particular box I can call by the name sidebar. Now ID, this attribute, is very specific. You can only use it once on the page. You can only use the name sidebar once. So ID means that this is a unique name that I'm giving to this box. If I had lots of boxes called sidebar, I'd have to use a different attribute. I could not use ID. ID means there's only one of these on the page. So now that I've named it and I know that it's div ID equals sidebar, I can go over here into my project 1 CSS, and I can select it, and you can put it anywhere on your page, so I'm just going to put it at the top. The way that you select something is if I wanted to just select all the boxes on my page, I would type in div. But I'm going to select it by ID, and if you select by ID, you use the hashtag or the pound sign, and you use the name. So that's how you select by ID. And then again, you make another rule. So you use the curly braces, the opening and the closing curly braces. And then you can put information in here, right? So I can give it a background color. Right? And I can even give it a width. I shouldn't give it a height because I want the content to tell me how high it should be. But I can give it a width. And I can give it a background color and border and all the other things. So I'm going to preview it. And there it is. Now my sidebar is a box, right? And it's on my page. Now there's a lot of other things you're going to learn, like float, things like that. But this is a very easy and simple demonstration on just how to actually put a div into your page. You have to put it into the HTML, and then you come over to the CSS and you select it over here.